fellas hear me right? Sweet. Enjoying your day? Good stuff. Alright, ready to see this thing attack me? Hell yeah. Alrighty. Firstly, I'd just like to say good day, welcome to the Reptile Park, and welcome to the Croc Show. My name's Billy, I'll be doing the show for you. Should go for about 10 or 15 minutes if everything goes to plan. If it doesn't, I've got a few of the lads over in the corner here to do something, because let's face it, if things do go wrong, you pricks will just film it. Alright, so got to have a bit of help over here, and Selena's actually doing a bit of training, so she's in the enclosure, just learning the aspects of guarding. Alright, so there's a fair bit involved if things do go pear-shaped. Alright, so you've probably all seen the big fella. He's probably the star attraction here at the park. He's known as Elvis the Crocodile. He's an adult male saltwater crocodile. They're the biggest reptile on planet Earth today. Alright, he's an impressive animal. He's about 4.5 metres long and weighs around about half a tonne, probably just under. Alright, and that's your average size for a salty, for a male. Alright, females are much smaller, 2.5, 3 metres for a real big one. Alrighty. Now, he's impressive at 4.5 metres, don't get me wrong. They can get bigger, alright? The males average 4 to 5 metres. Unique individuals getting over 6 metres in length, weighing over 1,000 kilos, over a tonne, alright? Now, there's only ever been one 6+ metre crocodile caught ever, with a tape measure put on it, proven. It was actually caught in 2011 over in the Philippines. For those that aren't aware, salties aren't just found here in Australia, they're found up through past the Pacific, PNG, Indonesia, Philippines, right through Southeast Asia, all the way to Central India. Alright, so not only are they the biggest in the world today, they're also the most widely distributed. And yeah, in 2007 they whipped out of a big mast over in the Philippines, 6 metres, 17 centimetres, weighing over a tonne in weight. Alright, biggest reptile we've seen in the modern day. People have made claims to bigger, massive, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 metre crocodiles. But you're probably aware, and I'm pretty sure it's scientifically proven, people lie. Alright? Especially males, exaggerating things, so yeah. But biggest proven 6 metres, 17 centimetres, that's a massive animal. Alright, it didn't live for very long when they brought it into captivity. Let's just say husbandry techniques weren't great over where they brought it into. It died a few months later, unfortunately. Now it's a taxidermy specimen over there in one of the big museums. Now Elvis, we don't know how old he is. Alright, he's a wild-caught croc. He was actually caught over in the Northern Territory in Darwin Harbour, of all places. So many years ago now, I'm talking the late 1980s. Alrighty. And he was only a smaller croc then, about 2.5 metres, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Darwin Harbour's got an exclusion zone where they basically don't tolerate crocs in there, so they just trap them and remove them. They've constantly got traps set in Darwin Harbour. They take about 250 salties a year out of that harbour alone. Alright. Now, he was taken, he was put in one of the local croc farms. They grew him up nice and big, and about 15 years later, they thought, righto, he's big enough, we'll give him a girlfriend. And they gave him girlfriend number 1, and he killed her. Right. So they let him sit for another 2 years, gave him chicken and kept him happy and whatnot. Gave him girlfriend number 2, and she literally swam into the water. He swam up, everything looked great. He grabbed her by the hand and just tore it straight off. Yeah, he decapitated girlfriend number 2, so that didn't work out. Pretty frowned upon in the croc farming world, so he was banished to the back of the farm. In 2007, we were looking for a new croc, and basically we went on a bit of a mission across Northern Australia. We rocked up at that joint, and they said, have this thing. And they put him in a box, put him on a Qantas flight, and sent him to us. And had a bit of a love-hate relationship ever since then. Alrighty. Just try and pop him up here. We'll give him a bit of food, see what sort of a mood he's in. He's nice and warm today. Put him up here. But he's one big fella. I won't bring him right out just yet. That second bit of food, I'll pop him right out of the water. Watch. Looking at the food, he's looking at my legs. Hey. You watch him just explode here. Come on, mate. Just a bit of food. Nice. Come on, mate. very impressive animal. Hear that jaw pop then? So these guys are the hardest fighting animal on the planet. So to put things in perspective, a bunch of scientists travelled the world a few years ago with a bite force reader, and they were jamming it in different animals' mouths. They actually started with humans, and humans were biting down about 90 to 100 psi, pounds per square inch. Big meathead dog over in America bit down at about 370. Then they found a 5 metre great white shark off the coast of South Africa, and it bit down at just over 670 psi. And then they jumped on a plane and they flew to Darwin in the Northern Territory, where this fella's from, and they found a 5 metre specimen. Alright, big 5 metre salty. They jammed this bite force reader in its mouth, and it consistently bit down between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds per square inch. Alright, so that will 100% ruin your day. Alrighty. Massive teeth, huge head, jaws hyperextend, and they just jump out and bite you. Alright. And the big teeth, impressive, long and pointy, they're not sharp though. Alright. If I had one of these teeth now, I could barely cut myself with it. But when you drive that pressure behind them, they're designed for gripping, and they just ski back into the water, pushka, boom, sit there until you stop kicking. Alright? They usually drown their prey, and that's what they're famous for, jumping out of the water and grabbing these big mammalian type prey. Alrighty? In Australia, there is heaps, wallabies and kangaroos, dingoes, feral pigs, and large, unique males can tackle livestock, like cattle, horses, and even your Asiatic buffalo that can be over 1,000 kilo weight. Alrighty. When it does come to attacks in Australia for people, we don't see many. Alrighty. We've got the highest density of saltwater crocodiles anywhere in the world, least amount of attacks and fatalities. Alright. Outside of Australian waters, it's a different story though. But in these areas, people are forced into the waterways to collect fresh drinking water, bathe, wash their clothes and so on. That's why there's crocodile-human conflict. We're not forced in the waterways here in Australia. When people are doing it, they're doing it out of choice. Alright, now, I'll ask you guys, well, let's just say, here in Australia, who do you reckon is most likely to get attacked by a croc? Tourists or locals? Most people say tourists, that's right. It's not, alright? Tourists go to Northern Australia and they won't get near a puddle because they think one of these things is going to jump out of it. Leading by a long way, local, Aussie, male, bogans. Right? They are the culprits. They're usually about 10 BBs deep at this stage. And as we know, Aussies are very relaxed, especially the further north you go, and they have that she'll be right attitude. So they go down to the waters there, they're locals, they know they crossed to there, they might not have seen one that day, maybe their fishing lure got stuck, it's hot, they just want to cool off, so they jump into the water, and the outcome is extremely poor, alrighty? And very few people have got away from an animal this size, alrighty? They are very unforgiving, they're not big on risk assessments, these things, they're not big on what ifs, they just bite and go boom, back into the water. They're not worried about hurting people's feelings, that is for sure, alright? But yeah, we don't see many in Australia attack. We've only had 83 documented human fatalities in the last 150 years, that's it. Alright, so yeah, very, very few, and pretty well all of them, bar 2, were mature males. Alright, there's only ever been 2 fatalities from females, and pretty well every single attack was avoidable. Alright, now I'm going to swim around one more time here. Hopefully you'll cruise around for me. He is very active today. You'll notice when he is scooting through, especially this shallow part of the pool here, he's only a few inches below the surface when he comes through here. Now, apart from the ripples that I've just made, there won't be any if he's completely submerged. So how he's doing that, the big lumps and bumps across their back are known as osteoderms. They're basically a floating bone plate under the surface of the skin. And it looks like they're slightly offset, so they create their own countercurrents as he's cruising around. So that's why they can sneak up pretty well undetected. And you imagine in low light conditions or a murky waterway, you know, the waterways these things live in Northern Australia certainly don't look like this, alright? Covered in lily pillies and reeds and floating grass platforms and quite murky usually. And they use that to their advantage, and they can pop under, sneak into where they last saw you, ready to make an ambush attack. And how they'll locate you when they are submerged like this is they've got pressure receptors, so 100 of them across their face and pretty well every single scale across their body. And they're basically a gel sack on the surface of the skin and they compress under pressure. So me just doing this, moving around on the water's edge, see you just turn them. He can pick up on that really, really well. He'll be honing himself right in on that now. Get a bit more of his food in. We'll see if we can get him right out for you. Get him right up here. Watch him turn in. Right, just splash that water. See that? Their eyesight's terrible underwater. But he's got a great breath hold. This fella can sit submerged for 4 to 5 hours. Alright. The only animal I know that can do a longer breath hold than that is sea turtles. Hey, come on, big fella. Hey, get him off. Try and get him right out for you here. Come on. You notice he gets much bigger as he starts getting out. Especially from my point of view. I can get his head up nice, good looking at my legs. Oh, there you do. Nice strike there. Beautiful. Give him a round of applause, guys. What a cracker. Give him a big burp then. Turn around and back in. You might sit there for a bit. Sit there, mate. Go back in the water. Very, very impressive animals. See, big fella? See you on Wednesday. Alright, so that's pretty much going to be it for the cross show. Short and sweet. We do it just on weekends throughout the term, and then coming up to school holidays we'll be doing this every single day. Alright. So, coming up next, we've actually got Nick's just up the back here, one of our very cute captive-bred American alligators. He's going to be around here to pterodactyl right near the playground doing photos for the next 15 minutes or so. So if you want to get a photo with the alligator, head around and see them. Otherwise, at 2 o'clock we've got the koala feeding show, which is absolutely riveting. That'll be at 2 o'clock, and then at 2:15, back in the show pit with Ranger and Mick for the afternoon restaurant show. Anyway guys, enjoy your afternoon, thanks for listening, see you later.